clumsy. It's just really, it is hard to walk in those boots and those rocks and all that. And I did fall. And you know, when I fall down and I say, Sigurd Lordeland, you know, that was just happening.
I will never forget that. You just say
I was slipping. I was like, "Oh shit! I'm falling! Blah blah blah!" The sword and everything.
Yeah,
and
but
then,
you mean it.
and then he goes, and I said this, and I stood up, and then I walked out of the shot, and then he goes, "Oh, you okay?" And I go, "Yeah." And he goes, "Sorry, we can do another one. I know." And I said, "No, that's probably good." And he goes, "Actually, it was good. I would like to use it, but did you say something?" I said, "Yes." He goes, "What did you say?" I said, "What a shitty country." And he said, "Oh, excellent." And that's universal. I mean, in you know, someone from Buenos Aires who slips and falls in Patagonia is going to say the exact same thing. You know, so it's kind of universal. But this wasn't obviously that anybody would laugh at. But if you remember when we saw it in Cannes the first time, we were sitting, the row that I was sitting in with Viilbjørk and Gita and your mother, right, and Marlene and Hele, and were you there also? No. But it was a row, it was the Danish row in the theater, and the rest were French and journalists from around the world, and I don't know who else. And, you know, official Cannes Festival people. And not just there, but all the time, all these little things that are very Danish, you know. We were laughing all the time. People were like, "Are you guys drunk? What's the matter?" Just there's so many little things that are very. You don't have to know that either to enjoy the movie, but it's a different kind of enjoyment because it's a specific kind of irony, and there's a certain kind of Danish pride combined with clumsiness. You know, it's very typical of Danes. You know, they maybe don't like to admit it, but they like to watch other Danes suffering from it. Maybe I don't know. But it's very funny that. And then in Argentina there are other things that seem funny, like to them the sort of arrogance maybe of Milkivar, the minister, and
trying to talk in French and saying, trying to impress you, like, and you say, I don't know what to say, no, I don't know what to say, it wasn't there.
Right, and even there, you know, there's a thing where he's I'm just thinking about dinner, I don't know what the hell they're talking about, there's the dog and the dog and the this and the, and you know, and then he keeps saying things to me in French because he's like, even though he's an Argentine, he spends some of the time, he's based on if you know Argentine history, you know that he's actually based on a specific minister who was part of this strategy to get rid of all the Indians, who was a Francophile, and he spent part of each year in Paris, and he was a very pretentious guy. And he would do this if a European, he was like, we're Europeans, he was putting himself above his own countrymen in that scene. So directing things to me in French the first 2 times, I'm like, I don't say anything. And the third time, I say, in Danish, I say, "Forstår ikke en pindo." You know, in other words, he's basically a farmer. I mean, he's learned to be an engineer, but he's like most of the guys who fought in those wars in the 19th century for Denmark were farmers. And so he doesn't speak French. He doesn't know what the fuck the guy's talking about. And he's kind of hungry and he's bored, you know, and probably thinking, maybe I shouldn't have yelled at my daughter, and what the hell, these guys keep talking. And then finally, you know, that scene, the guy gets up and walks away, and I was there, you know, Danish people, we laughed, and then at the end I said, no, det var meget fint, or whatever, or det var sjovt. You know, that was fun, you know, this conversation, the whole thing was ridiculous, but there's those little things that are very, you know, and then when are we eating, and the guy says, later, and all. So it's like very grounded, but I think that this grounded behavior, or the way that you know, you touch that boy, or, you know, the way you guys are in the landscape and the grass, and the way you handle the wooden soldier, the way you take the compass, you know, they're very real actions. They're very simple, very grounded in reality. But meantime, Timos and Lisandro are putting this strange light on it.
It wasn't me, it was him.
Well, but you hired him. You hired him for a reason.
Yeah.
Oh, there's a very, you want to tell this?
Well,
there was one day, you did have one day where you yeah, this is pretty...
Well, I don't know, at the beginning, there's some people involved in here, so at first, we started shooting the film, the last part of the film here in Denmark. We shot it in 2012, like a year before we started shooting in Argentina. So I really admire Timo's work. For me, it's one of the greatest DOPs alive in Europe, seriously. And so I emailed him and I said, do you want to came to this starting shooting in Denmark? Okay, why not? He takes his car, he lives in Portugal, he brings the camera and some people. He travels during 3 days, just to another 3-day shooting. So I really say, okay, this guy's a nice guy, eh? He's traveling from that far just for 3 days, and he brings his family, and we stay in near Manuel's house. But actually, wasn't easy for me. I just came, I mean, I'm not trying to be a victim here, but I just came alone from Argentina, and I was with all, except for Manuel and Malene, who speak Spanish, and some of the others say, what the fuck am I doing here? But I need to shoot this movie, I need to start this machine, you know. Otherwise, I will not stay, happy. But the work with Timo at the first stage was, this is not gonna work, man, it's too finished.
Not talking.
No, not talking that much, and I didn't, because I really respect the guy. But well, just to make it short, there was once he moved to Argentina, everything changed, and it worked perfect, and it was fantastic. And I think I had the chance to work again in the new film. I'm gonna ask him to help me. But there was a scene, especially in Argentina, when I still respect a lot Timo, because this is the first time in Denmark. But I thought it was there's a guy lying on with the fire thing, and they are talking, about something in the film. And the light, it should came from the fire thing, but it was too strong, no? Too strong. Yeah. What did you say? I'm sorry. Just
the wall, the rock behind you.
Yeah, so it was a wall, and the shadow was very strong and everything. So there was an Argentinian brother to me, the one who made together the short that we show. Just came to me and he told, hey, Lisandro, I think this light is too much, man. You should say something, because he's almost putting the light inside the frame, So you just okay, so I would try. It was late at night, and I just approach a little bit like that and say, Timo. Everything's fine? No, he doesn't say. At the second time, he doesn't say, like, what the fuck? You're coming with something.
What do you want?
Yes, exactly, yeah. So I say, where do you think this light on the wall came from? Because,
It's a lot of light.
from the lamp. I keep quiet, and so I say, yeah. I saw it, but and I stay quiet like that, and I say, okay, well, that's the way he is. I admire it. What can I say? But suddenly after 15 minutes or so, he came to me and said, Lisandro, you know my work, so what I'm trying to do here is just to create the illusion that even if it looks artificial, I think it's even better for the film. Otherwise, you have to give the look of Barry Lyndon film. It's not that kind of thing. So I just, from that point to the ending of the film, I just shut up and learn alone, like I did with this guy and with Pete with some other people. But it was at the beginning was strange. But I'm absolutely happy now that the film has it look artificial, or like theater or something strange, that help you to see the film like in a different way, from my point of view.
Yeah.
I don't know.
There's an aspect of the film that we haven't talked about yet, but I feel it's so important for the experience that we have to touch upon it. The sound. The sound design of this film is... it's overwhelming at times, it's expressive, it's contrapuntal to the image. Who made the sound design? I think Viggo, you had part. thing to do with it too, right?
Viggo,
No, I didn't. I was just that he wanted some music. The one song you hear, yeah. But no, it was Catriel, no?
Catriel, yeah, is the one that...
The sound design.
Yeah, it's a kind of a great friend to me, and actually it happens to me in the previous films that people ask me about the sound. I have nothing to do because I really trust the guy, so I never ask anything about what he's doing. So, but I think it has to be with nature and how you perceive the nature, because the film give you time to not listening people talking, so you concentrated. Oh, that was a beautiful one. No, okay, that was the boots or whatever. No? So I think it start to getting more and more in your head.
But the way you guys played with it and when you were editing was really, maybe you're referring to the cut, you're looking at something, especially because you start the movie, it feels, although the second time you see it, you start to see, wait, this is not so realistic after all. And then the sound, sometimes you have this first with the grass and that, but there's this faint, some of those sounds that we sometimes had way south. There was a highway where once every hour a truck would go by, and he got one, and then he used that a couple of places. You guys mixed it in a very subtle way, and sounds that didn't belong. But once you've gotten someone to believe that it's completely real, then you can start pushing them. Okay, I'm going to throw in something that's not real, and then that works, and then you did it, and you like little steps to where you suddenly can just go slap. It's like, oh shit, what did they just say? What did they just do? Where did that light come from? The way that you and Catriel work, obviously the marriage between image and sound, or Catriel, you and Timo is great, because you're not afraid to take chances, And Fabian was a great choice because he's not afraid to take chances either, This term, coconut heads, nobody says that. Fabian made that up, and now in the street in Buenos Aires, you're coconut heads, like it always existed, And you have somebody stops rationally and asks, well, what's that mean? Why you call them that? That's not a name. Well, it is. It's just been said. Now it is, And a truck just drove by, even though it's impossible, I think. And then, but something else happens and you forget, that's, yeah.
Would you like to add something, Lisandro?
No.
Yes.
Hi, I'd like to ask Viggo, what was it like to speak Danish in a film? I guess you don't usually do that. And for Lisandro, what was it like for you to direct actors in a language you don't speak yourself?
That's easy. You just don't pay attention. No, I don't know. I trust absolutely 100% to 100% this guy. So, and it was my first time working with actors, what am I gonna say? No, I think you're not doing that right, man. I think you should go the other direction. No, I just shut up and learn, But the first time I tried to be honest all the time. So the first scene that we were shooting in Argentina, Viggo was far away, and say, okay, it's now or never. No, it's our first shoot. You should say something. And Viggo was, I don't know, 50 meters on, and ready to shoot. And I said, okay, just give me a minute. So I started running to Viggo, and I brought to him, and I said, what should I say to the actors? And she looked at me and said, well, I'm an actor. Yeah, but I was thinking about her, because, well, I don't know, man. If you like the scene, just say it's good. If you don't like, just say it's good, but let's make another one. That's how I direct Viggo. But I think, I'm not able to say. We talk a lot from before this started with the shooting. So, but on the other hand, once I choose the character or the real guy, I don't have to make many questions. I mean, the guy is already there, so whatever he does is going to be fine. So that's was part of the question, and the other one was for you.
But, I mean, you have great instincts. If you do say, let's do another one, you have a good reason, you know. And, I mean, David Cronenberg always works with actors, and yet it's not much different than the way you approach it, which is you let things happen. You don't interfere with what they're doing unless something, you might, well, let's try it again, you know, and you might just say one little thing, and which you sometimes did, but in a very friendly way where the actors feel confident, like that you are, you know, it's almost like if you're playing a sport or you're on stage and you feel that the audience is with you, or a musician, or you know, a poet, or a theater actor. If you have this feeling that the audience is wanting it to work, which I think in the beginning of every play and every movie, there's like about 10 minutes, 15 minutes, where it's like free pass. You can really make mistakes, you know, but as long as you do something interesting, one interesting thing in the first 10 minutes, then they'll stay with you, you know. I think basically when we go to the movies,